Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I hope that all of you listening are as appreciative of the fact that you're here as I am. And I'm not referencing the Moon Lambo channel, which of course is the best channel on all the YouTubes, but I just mean in general being in the world of crypto, where there is the greatest opportunity for the everyday person to achieve life-changing wealth. And I want to talk to you about the XRP adoption curve as well as some milestones that have been getting hit just because they're pretty damn cool. And I think that a lot of what I'm going to highlight in this video is going to illustrate just how truly early we are based on real world data. And to me, when I see this information, to me, it's just exciting. There's almost no humans in crypto, period. And of the small number of humans on the planet that are in crypto, very few of them have ever held XRP at any moment in time. In fact, substantially less than 1% of humans have ever held XRP at any point in time. But at some point, my suspicion is that they're eventually we're going to hit that 1% mark, 1% of humans having held XRP, and then who knows where to max out. I don't pretend to know. You know, for Bitcoin and crypto in general, it's at like 4% already. But we've barely seen adoption of crypto. So, you know, the idea of having over 1 billion people in crypto, that doesn't seem bonkers to me. And then a certain percentage of the money that flows in as a result of that, I believe, will flow into XRP. The whole market's still moving in tandem, so that's fine. That is a reason to not be afraid of crypto. It's all behaving about the same. But even in a world where utility matters, which is the world that I'm waiting for and looking for ultimately anyway, well, XRP shines there too because it actually solves real problems for real people. So I want to highlight some of this stuff and share with you some milestones on the XRP ledger that have recently been hit. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And it's amazing that XRP can be purchased for the measly price of 47 cents today in 2022. And fine, I'm happy to see that it's up from, you know, a few weeks ago it was as low as, what, 32 cents, and it had, you know, rally up to about 55 cents, and it's been kind of range bound for a little bit since then. But still, I think even this price is going to look like a big nothing. I think it's all about perspective. But milestones keep getting hit too. Like, look at this brand new headline from the Crypto Basic. XRP Ledger just hit 75 million blocks, highlighting growing adoption rate. And so think about this. Not only are you early, but, and I say that knowing full well that XRP's existed for over a decade at this point. It was actually technically created June of 2012, even though it wasn't traded at that particular point. It's existed over a decade. And it's just so fascinating to see the network adoption continue to increase. And you do, you know, I'll talk about Metcalfe's law in a little, just a minute here. But based on that, it's this idea of increased adoption resulting in exponential growth at some point. Well, you technically are seeing a bit of that now, in exponential growth. It may not feel like it, but if you actually chart like what's been happening in terms of actual adoption since XRP began trading, it is. And not just through speculation, obviously real world adoption, but even if you just look at transactions on the network, which is really what we're looking at when we're talking about Metcalfe's law, yes, the answer is yes. Just like Bitcoin, it's doing the same thing. It's just more exciting to be an XRP in my humble opinion because there's way less money in XRP. So as it continues to move in tandem with the rest of the asset class, it's going to have a way bigger multiplier effect. And even if it's not as big a multiplier effect as small cap coins, I don't give a damn. Fine, I hold a few small cap coins, but maybe they go to zero because they're not as battle tested. What if there is a rug pull? What if the code, which isn't as tried and true because most of them are newer anyway? What if there is some sort of a point that hackers can take advantage of? Well, technically it could happen to Bitcoin even. You could have a hack and it destroys it forever. This is not likely. It's really not likely. Bitcoin and XRP have been attacked for over a decade at this point. Well, fine, XRP almost a decade because it hasn't technically been, available and decentralized since then, because again, they were still coding it towards until I guess it was the end of 2012 if memory serves. But look at this. The whole time that this has been going on, regardless of price, adoption has persisted for XRP. And, price ends up catching up to actual adoption and network activity. That's part of the theory here, and it's held true to this point. So look at this headline, again, from the Crypto Basic. XRP Ledger just hit 75 million blocks, highlighting growing adoption rate. Blockchain has introduced myriad benefits to the financial sector and other areas of everyday life. As a consequence, Ripple is building on the nascent technology as it introduces scalability that could only have been dreamt of a decade ago with its XRP ledger. Due to its robustness, XRP ledger has enjoyed massive adoption from several firms. I'll just pause to note. First time I read that, I was kind of rolling my eyes. Several firms. Several firms. That doesn't even, encompass all of Ripple's clients utilizing XRP as a bridge currency. It doesn't even almost encompass that. And there are all sorts of other developers, entrepreneurs building on top of the XRP ledger, using XRP as a currency in many cases. So I kind of eye rolled, but the rest of the article I think is pretty well fine. So anyway, due to its robustness, XRPL has enjoyed massive adoption from several firms within and outside the crypto space. Recent data highlight this growing adoption as XRPL appears to have processed over 75 million blocks as of press time. A look at XRPL statistics on the XRPL services platform reveals some impressive data on the ledger. The ledger index, which tells the blockchain's latest block, shows an index of 75,013,727. This indicates that the ledger has processed over 75 million blocks cumulatively, an impressive achievement. So there you go. It only took almost an entire decade, but hey, 75 million. It's just kind of a cool milestone, right? And by the way, I will note this too. XRP, the technology is called the XRP ledger, with the native asset, of course, being XRP. I still don't know the reason that it's called the XRP ledger. It's a fine name, don't get me wrong. But, and that seems to be like the quote unquote like official name. If something that's decentralized can have an official name, I guess so. It was named by somebody when it was centralized in the beginning. But yeah, just like Bitcoin was centralized, when there was one person, Satoshi mining. But anyway, setting that aside, so named the XRP ledger, but it is a blockchain. It's the XRP blockchain. So even if the name is XRP ledger, you can call it the XRP blockchain because that's what it is. I think that kind of confuses people sometimes, though. It is a blockchain, as Matt Hamilton put it. I remember reading this and learning this in the earliest of days back in 2017 as I jumped into crypto, that, it's a blockchain. There are always people, especially back then, you see fewer of these people trying to, tout this crap now, but there were so many people back in 2017 and 2018 trying to convince people that XRP ledger was not a blockchain, but each transaction contains the hash of the previous transaction as articulated by Matt Hamilton, who is a former Ripple employee. It's just complete and utter garbage here. But it is nice in 2022 you see a bit less of that here. But take a look at this milestone too, and I'll just be brief on this because this is from October 1st, just the headline I'll mention. XRP wallet surpassed 4 million as investors' interest grows. And look, I think there's way more than 4 million people that have jumped in to XRP. I don't know what the number is. It's just a suspicion, and I admit that. And yeah, I understand, like, some people like me have multiple XRP addresses, so you might think, well, doesn't that mean that there would be fewer than 4 million people? I think no. And the reason I say that is because most exchanges use shared wallets, and most people don't have particularly large quantities of XRP, and I don't think they go to the trouble of taking self-custody. So if you see 4 million wallets on the blockchain, what does that actually mean? Is it like tens of millions of people that have held XRP or holding XRP currently? Is it a lot more than that? I don't know what the number would be. I don't even know of a good way to check that. So admittedly, it's just a suspicion. But again, knowing that most people that hold XRP, it looks like the wallet, like the account sizes are small. I would imagine that would hold true for the shared accounts. And the shared accounts, fine, they're massive because there's a bunch of people in there. But I would imagine most people are investing in similar fashion, whether it's self-custody or not. So again, just a suspicion. But either way, isn't that cool? It took a decade, and now there's over 4 million. Like, adoption just keeps going regardless of what happens with price. The adoption just keeps on going forward. And this was articulated also very well by Raoul Pal, who was a former Goldman Sachs exec. And I highlighted this in a recent video. This is an article from October 8th, and he was talking about Metcalfe's Law here, and this is from the Daily Huddle. And there's a quote from him which reads as follows. I'm long a bit. I think it's like a special situation, and I think the court case gets resolved positively and it goes up. It's actually a very used protocol. By using Metcalfe's Law, it's pretty decent. The only thing, Americans can't invest in it because it got taken off the exchanges. And I'll pause and note that's not literally true. There are a few exchanges, but I get the cut of a jib. It's fine. And then he says, but generally speaking, it does what it's supposed to be doing. It's working as a payment transmission. I have no issue with it. There's plenty of activity on chain, and Metcalfe's Law prices it appropriately to where it is, end quote. And look, this is important because Raoul Pal also tracks Metcalfe's Law as it applies to Bitcoin. And here you can see, this is content from Willy Woo, who does a bunch of on-chain analytics almost exclusively for Bitcoin. I don't know if he's technically a maximalist. He might be. He doesn't seem to like XRP from what I've seen from him, but whatever, it's fine. People don't have to like the same cryptos as me for me to find value in some of the stuff they say. It's cool. I'm not tribal about that stuff. But he put out this afternoon. So this chart shows adoption curves. And the line up here, the straight line here, that is the world population dating back from 1980. You can see it just keeps sloping on upward here. And then you have the adoption of the internet, and the actual metric here is internet users. So you can see the internet going back to about 1990 here, and adoption was pretty slow first. You know, you can see it's starting to tick up. There's like this, to some degree, exponential increase, in particular by the year 2000. And then look what happened as the next decade passed, and then another decade passed. And the same thing's happening in terms of adopting the cryptocurrency asset class. And fine, Bitcoin's leader right now, and I'm happy to acknowledge it. That's fine. I don't know if it'll always be number one in market cap, but it's the one with the brand cachet, if you will. And cool, super duper, whatever. I've held Bitcoin since 2017. Fine, XRP is still my favorite crypto. It's my largest holding. Whatever, is what it is. But here's what Willy Woo pointed out here, and it's amazing. Because this stuff really doesn't happen overnight. So yes, investing in crypto, it's, in my humble opinion, yes, it's the quickest way to achieve life-changing wealth. But even then, it's like subjectively what is quick. It's not like snap of a finger, literally. But eventually things really do start to tick up. If, you know, as long as adoption keeps getting, technology keeps getting adopted, and clearly here it is. So take a look at this. Willy Woo wrote, Bitcoin took 6 months to get 1,000 users. 5 years to find 1 million users. Just think about that. The first 6 months of Bitcoin's existence, it attracted only 1,000 humans. That's it. Now, if that rate persisted, there would be almost nobody using Bitcoin. But that isn't what happened, is it? It increased exponentially. It has to this point. And if you're looking at the screen, you know that visually it doesn't look that impressive. But that's kind of the point. That's how early this is. And if you're an XRP, you're in like a little subcategory of crypto, if you will. And that's even more exciting to me than just being in Bitcoin. It's fine. There's opportunity in Bitcoin, super duper. But there's way more money in it than in XRP. And that's why it's so much easier. Like, that's why for me, XRP is the sweet spot where it's been battle tested, but there's also almost no money in it compared to what's been put into Bitcoin. To me, that's the sweet spot. Even though it's technically a large cap coin, there's almost no money. I just don't care. So again, 6 months to get 1,000 users in Bitcoin, 5 years to then reach 1 million users. Today, 13.8 years from inception, it has 300 million plus users. That's 4% of the world. 13.8 years to get 4% of the world, and that's all that it looks like. For those of you looking at your screen, you can see what I'm talking about. Visually, it's not stunning, but the numbers themselves, as I just read them to you, it's pretty impressive, right? It is happening, and you can see it start to tick up, but it takes time. It just takes time. And so he then notes, at current growth rates, 1 billion users will be hit in the next 3 years. 1 billion users. So from 300 million to 1 billion users in the next 3 years at the current growth rate. That's 12% of the world. And here you are first. And way less than 1% of humans are in XRP. What if the number of users in XRP just tripled? And I don't think it would necessarily just triple. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think there's a lot of room for growth in terms of network activity on the XRP ledger, and I think with more people jumping in, a lot more people speculating, more utility, I think just price just follows eventually. I think it just happens. And we've been seeing this again with Bitcoin since its inception, and same for XRP. XRP for about a decade at this point. Which is why, fine, the bear market times like now, it's not as fun, I guess. I mean, I'm still excited about it every day, but I think for most people, I guess it's just not that fun or exciting. But my gosh, every day I'm recognizing this opportunity here that most people are blissfully unaware of. And that's why I started the video by effectively giving a kudos to you for even being here in this space. And take a look at this too. And I thought this was so cool. So this happened today. I say today, technically, as I record this, what time is it? 11:52 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm in the Midwest of the United States. So it's still today for another 8 minutes. This is from Crypto Potato. Look at this headline. This is the coolest thing. 13 years ago, 5,000 Bitcoin sold for only $5. Yes, you heard that right. 5,000 Bitcoin for $5. Check out these numbers. This is staggering. And you're going to see stories like this, I believe. And if you fast forward another decade from now with XRP, there's going to be bonkers stories about people that bought XRP at half a penny, people that bought XRP at 50 cents. Because if it really is going to the levels that we're thinking about, what if it does get into, $10, $20, $30? What if it does reach triple digits? I mean, there's more than enough money on the planet for it to do that, and potentially higher. And I'm not making a price prediction. I'm just saying in terms of if it's adopted, if people want it, and if it continues to be useful, could that happen? I don't see any reason why not. I really don't. There's way more money on the planet than necessary to reach those levels. And almost no money's in crypto. We already saw the damn thing run up to almost $4 on wild, pure speculation several years ago. So yeah, the idea of it hitting these insanely high levels relative to where it is now isn't actually insane, in my personal opinion. So take a look at this. Today marks the 13th anniversary of the very first Bitcoin trade ever conducted in exchange for United States dollars. Now think about this. Now mind you, I don't think it mentions it in the article. Bitcoin, it went live January 3rd of 2009. So then October 12th of 2009, same year, is the first time that Bitcoin was ever traded. It was ever sold. That's today, 13 years ago. On October 12th, 2009, exactly 5,050 Bitcoin was traded for just $5.02. The transaction was conducted by Finnish developer Martti Malmi, who helped Satoshi Nakamoto work on Bitcoin in its early days. Before this trade, Bitcoin didn't have any market price. Think about that, folks. This is how early we are here. That was only 13 years ago. There was a time when Bitcoin was just getting mined, and it was worth zero because it didn't have a market price until somebody decided to sell it for something. And that's where it started. So check this out. These numbers are absolutely staggering. As one of the oldest transactions, the transfer has been confirmed by Bitcoin's blockchain over 733,000 times, making it virtually impossible to reverse. At today's prices, the transaction is worth, and I'll use round numbers here, the transaction is worth at today's prices $96 million. If using Bitcoin's price during its all-time high in November of $69,000, the transaction would have been worth $348 million. And again, think about that. All that from $5.02. From $5 to $348 million. And all you had to do was wait, a little over a decade. This is why patience pays off. In XRP, we are so early here, but it must have seemed like forever, and it must have been terrifying in the earliest of days, especially those first few years. And yeah, I understand there were pumps even in the earliest of days, but then crashing back down, and things were much less certain then. Was it really going to go down and then just never come back ever again? There's a lot more confidence in crypto markets today, so it's a totally different world. But still, it illustrates the point that those who hold, the opportunity's there. And then the piece continues. The first ever Bitcoin transaction took place between Satoshi Nakamoto and Hal Finney for just 10 Bitcoin. Bitcoin's first use as a means of payment was in May of 2010, when a Florida man negotiated to give up 10,000 Bitcoin in exchange for 2 pizzas worth just $25. And I could be wrong, but I think that was Papa John's. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I think that's right. I'd have to Google that to be sure. But 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. That's some expensive freaking pizza, man. But it'll be the same story with XRP in the future. I think we're just fortunate enough to be this early on. XRP's behind XRP in terms of adoption and growth, especially as it pertains to Metcalfe's law. You can see that. And that's not some harsh critique. I'm saying that because that's awesome. That represents the opportunity. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.